Hello, Kodandi here, and I am with my friend Julianne. Julianne, I am dog sitting for Julianne, and it has turned into an interesting situation because the dog sitting was arranged back in October. Actually, I think is when we arranged it because dog mama wanted to go to Swamiji Paramahamsa Nityananda, his December program in India. But the dog is old and disabled, and she needs a lot of care. It's, special needs dog. And so she wanted me to stay with the dog while she's away. And anyway, so yes, sure, I'll stay with your dog. Take care of the dog, no problem. Last night, the day before she gets on the plane to go to the program, she takes the dog to the vet because the dog's coughing and she's concerned it might be bronchitis or pneumonia. Turns out it's cancer, that the dog has massive lung cancer. And the vet was surprised that the dog was doing as well as she is. But then also the vet suggested to just euthanize her right there. And, dog mama was really upset by this because, tomorrow she's leaving to go to India for 3 weeks. And, her beloved 14-year-old dog now has terminal cancer. And so she didn't know what to do. She called me up and I said, don't euthanize the dog. Do not euthanize the dog. I will come over. I will stay with the dog. I will take care of the dog. While you're away, we will continue as planned. And if she dies, she dies. And if she lives until you get back, you'll see her again when you get back. But at this point, who knows, really? So we'll see what happens. But I was just really, really shocked how everyone, not just the veterinarian, but, her friends and other people in her life, how everyone was just so quick to jump to kill your dog, euthanize your dog, put your dog down before you go on the trip. And I don't believe in euthanasia. I'm not at all. I don't believe in assisted suicide, but, these things are legal. People choose them for various reasons. If you go into my guru Paramahamsa Nityananda's YouTube page, you can go back and find these Akashic Records readings that were done on various topics. One of them is death. And it is very, very clear in the Akashic Records that euthanasia and assisted suicide are in the cosmic law, in the cosmic, karmic realms, that they are still considered to be murder and suicide. And it's this is a very hard thing for people in the West to learn because we are so desensitized to the death of animals, and we are so in this death-denying state where we just want the dog to die according to what's convenient for us and not according to what is best for the soul of a living being. This is a serious decision to make, to euthanize an animal, that you are taking away a living being's access to this realm of existence, and that you are making that decision according to what you think and feel and what is convenient for you, rather than letting the dog decide. And people say, oh, but it's more compassionate. You don't want the dog to suffer. Oh, she's going to asphyxiate and die. Well, first of all, that's death. That's how death happens. You stop breathing and you die. That is how we all go. We all asphyxiate when we die. And there's nothing you can do to prevent that. Lung cancer or whatever. That is how death happens. But also, it's just, I mean, what we see and perceive as suffering is our own projection. There's no like suffering-ometer where we scan and look, her suffering level is at critical code yellow. I mean, there's no way for us to know whether or not the dog is suffering. And there are signs of pain. We can see and infer from different behaviors that the dog might be in pain. But being in pain is not the same as suffering. As someone who has lived with a chronic pain condition, pain does not equal suffering. I can myself be in incredible amounts of pain, but not suffer from it. And I can sit there and be very, very lucid and appear very, very calm, but my pain level is up at 7 or 8 on a scale of 10. So being in pain does not equal suffering. And when we see that and imagine another being to be suffering, we are doing an incredible disservice to them, because not only do people do this to animals, they do it to other humans, and especially people that are disabled, where someone will see, that person's disabled, they can't walk, they're in a wheelchair, they're blind, whatever it is, and then, project this whole thing about, they must be suffering, life must be so hard, I couldn't live like that, if I was paralyzed, I would kill myself. It's completely absurd. It is so absurd, and it's incredibly prejudiced against disabled people as well, because you cannot assume that someone is suffering just because of whatever physical condition that they have, and you cannot assume that they're not going to be able to live a happy, fulfilled life just because their physical condition is different from yours, okay? That's another tangent that I'm not even going to get on. But what we perceive to be suffering and what we imagine to be suffering is not an objective truth. And unless the being says, I am suffering, we don't know. We have no way of knowing. And especially when death comes, the longer you can stay in the body, the more karma you can burn off, and the less karma you take with you into the next life. And so even, when people are dying and it looks terrible, and they're going through death throes, and their bodies are just going crazy, and it's terrible. It's really, really terrible to watch someone going through death throes. But just because we perceive that to be suffering doesn't mean that it is. And in fact, historically, like if you go back to medieval times in Europe, people believe that the more dramatic your death throes are, that meant you were dying well, and that you would go to heaven or whatever, I don't know. But the same sort of concept exists in Hinduism, that, your last moments in the body, it's your last chance to burn off karma and to leave, the troubles of this world behind with your body, so that you can go on to the next life and be in a better place and be in peace. And so what we perceive to be suffering when a being is dying, it probably isn't. And even if it is, unless that being tells us, we don't know. And it's just cold, and it's cruel, and it's completely unfair to take the life of a being because we are uncomfortable with what we perceive is going on. It's illogical. It is illogical. to take the life of another being because of our own perceptions and our own interpretations of those perceptions. And it's a bad idea. It's a really bad idea. Not only has, my guru, when he was doing the Akashic Records readings, found this information, but also I was in a program with Amma, the hugging saint, and someone came up and asked the question saying that, she'd euthanized her cat and she felt bad about it and she wasn't sure if she made the right decision. And Amma's response was that it's legal in your country, and that's all she would say. And she would not say that it was good or bad or the right or wrong or anything. She simply said that it's legal in your country. And, I think that was a very compassionate way to approach the question, because the woman was genuinely troubled by it, and I don't know if that answer gave her any peace at all. But yeah, it's not good. It's really not good to take the life of an animal because of your own discomfort. I mean, like, I'm vegan, and I don't believe that we should be taking the lives of animals for any reason, for our pleasure or to, relieve our discomfort or because we perceive that something or another is going on. But people not only project their own thoughts and ideas and feelings and issues onto other living beings unfairly, but people just cannot accept death. They just are denying death. But death is a process of all things on this planet. Everyone you know and love, including yourself, is going to die. Everything, all places, all buildings, everything, all plants, all trees, all animals, everything dies. Everything crumbles and everything returns to dust. And to live in denial of that is to live a lie. And to live in denial of death is to close your eyes to the reality of this existence. And if you have an awakened third eye, you know that this physical existence is just this sort of thin layer that we experience, that it's something that we can, change and touch and, have effects on. And then to just deny the reality of death and to deny what happens and to deny a living being the full experience of it. I mean, death is your last chance to learn any lessons that you need to learn and to deal with any karmas and process any things, do any completions. And it's the same whether you're a dog or a cat or a human or a whatever animal, that we need to allow them to die on their own terms and not end an animal's life just because I'm going on a trip and I don't want to, whatever. I mean, it was just absurd hearing the things that people were saying to this woman about, like, let me refer you to someone to come and euthanize your dog, and when are you going to euthanize her? And just don't do it. Life is beautiful and life is precious, and especially our beloved pets deserve to live a full and fulfilled life and deserve, every chance that they can have to burn off karmas and to have a better birth. And, if she dies while I'm here, we'll be having doggy hospice. If she holds on until dog mama gets back, then great. Dog mama will be very happy to see that. We'll see what happens. But yeah, don't euthanize your animals. Don't euthanize your animals. It's not the compassionate choice. I don't care what anyone says. It is not the compassionate choice. So, okay. Nityanandam.